Chapter 30 of The Countess of Charny by Alexandre Dumas, translated by Henry L. Williams. This Librivox recording is in a public domain. The Effect of Happy News. Pitou had to tell his intended marriage to Mayor Longpre, who lived hard by. Less said against the Belay family than Angelique, he congratulated Pitou on the match. Pitou listened to his praise without seeing where he was doing very much of a noble action. By the way, as a pure Republican, Pitou was delighted to find that the Republic had done away with the publication of the bans and other ecclesiastical trammels which had always galled true lovers. It was therefore settled between the mayor and the suitor that the wedding should take place on the following Saturday at the town hall. Next day, Sunday, the sale of the Charny estate and the Belay farm was to come off, the latter at the upset price of 400,000, and the other at 600,000 in paper money. Assignats were dropping fearfully. The gold louis was worth 920 francs in paper. But, then, nobody ever saw a gold piece nowadays. Pitou had run all the way back to acquaint Catherine with the good news. He had ventured to anticipate the marriage day by 48 hours, and he was afraid he should vex Catherine. She did not appear vexed, and he was lifted up among the angels, his namesakes. But she insisted on his going once more to Aunt Angelique's, to announce the exact date of the wedding day and invite her to be at the ceremony. She was the bridegroom's sole relative, and, though not at all tender toward him, he ought to do the proper thing on his side. The consequence was that on Thursday morning Pitou went over to Villers-Cotterêts to repeat the visit. 9 o'clock was striking as he got in sight of the house. The aunt was not on the doorstep, but the door was closed anyway, as if she expected his call. He thought that she had stepped out, and he was delighted. He would have paid the visit, and a polite note with a piece of wedding cake after the ceremony would acquit the debt to courtesy. Still, he was a conscientious fellow. He went up to the door and knocked. As no answer came to his raps, he called. At the double appeal of knuckle and voice, a neighbor appeared at her own door. "Do you know whether or no my aunt has gone out, eh, Mother Fagot?" "Has she not answered?" asked Dame Fagot. "Oh, she has not, as you see, so I guess she has gone out for a gossip." "I should have seen her go out," she said. "My door opens the same way as hers, and it is pretty seldom that in getting up of a morning she does not drop into our house to get some warm ashes to put in her shoes, with which the poor dear lamb keeps her toes warm all the day. Ain't that so, neighbor Farellet?" This question was addressed to a fresh character, who, likewise opening his door, shoved his conversational oar into the parley. "What are you talking about, Madame Fagot?" "I was saying that Aunt Angelique had not gone out. Have you seen anything of her?" "That I hain't, and I am open to wager that she has not gone out, otherwise her shutters would not be open, do you see?" "By all that is blue, that is true enough," remarked Pitou. "Heavens, I hope nothing unfortunate has happened to my poor aunt." "I should not wonder," said Mother Fagot. "It is more than possible. It is probable," said Farellet sententiously. "To tell the truth, she was not over-tender to me," went on Pitou. "But I do not want harm to befall her for all that. How are we going to find out the state of things?" "That is not a puzzle," suggested a third neighbor, joining in. "Send for Rigolot, the locksmith." "If it is to open the door, he is not wanted," said Pitou. "I know a little trick of prying the bolt with a knife." "Well, go ahead, my lad," said Farellet. "We are all witnesses that you pick the lock with the best intentions, and your pocket-knife." Pitou had taken out his knife, and, in the presence of a dozen persons attracted by the occurrence, He slipped back the bolt with a dexterity proving that he had used this means of opening the way more than once in his youth. The door was open, but the interior was plunged into complete darkness. As the daylight gradually penetrated and was diffused, they could descry the form of the old girl on her bed. Petu called her by name twice, but she remained motionless and without response. He went in and up to the couch. "Hello!" he exclaimed, touching the hands. "She is cold and stark." They opened the windows. Aunt Angelique was dead. "What a misfortune!" said Petu.
"Tush!" said Farelay. "A hard winter is coming, and wood never so dear. She saves by departing where the firing is plentiful. Besides, your aunt did not dote on you."
"Maybe so," said Petu with tears as big as walnuts. "But I liked her pretty well. Oh, my poor auntie," said the big baby, falling on his knees by the bed. "I say, Captain Petu," said Mademoiselle, "if you want anything, just let us know. If we ain't good neighbors, we ain't good for anything." "Thank you, Mother. Is that boy of yours handy?" "Yes. Hey, Fagotin," called the good woman. A boy of 14 stood frightened at the door. "Here I am, Mother," he said. "Just bid him trot over to Heremont, to tell Catherine not to be uneasy about me, as I have found my Aunt Angelique dead. Poor aunt." He wiped away fresh tears. "That is what is keeping me here." "You hear that, Fagotin? Then off you go."
"Go through Soissons Street," said the wise Farelay, "and notify Citizen Reynal that there is a case of sudden death to record at old Miss Petu's." The boy darted off on his double errand. The crowd had kept increasing till there were 100 before the door. Each had his own opinion on the cause of the decease, and all whispered among themselves, "If Petu is no fool, he will find some hoard smuggled away in an old sock, or in a crock, or in a hole in the chimney." Dr. Reynal arrived in the midst of this, preceded by the head tax-gatherer. The doctor went up to the bed, examined the corpse, and declared to the amaze of the lookers-on that the death was due to cold and starvation. This redoubled Petu's tears. "Oh, poor aunt," he wailed, "and I thought she was so rich. I am a villain for having left her to poverty. Oh, had I only known this! It cannot be, Dr. Reynal." "Look into the hutch and see if there is any bread. In the wood box, and see if there is any firewood. I have always foretold that the old miser would end up in this way." Searching, they found not a crumb or a splinter.
"Oh, why did she not tell me this?" mourned Petu. "I would have chopped up some wood for her, and done some poaching to fill the larder. It is your fault, too," the poor fellow added, accusing the crowd. "You ought to have told me that she was in want."
"We did not tell you that she was in want," returned wiseacre Farelay, "for the plain reason that everybody believed that she was rolling in riches." Dr. Reynal had thrown the sheet over the cold face and proceeded toward the door when Petu intercepted him.
"Are you going, doctor?"
"Why, what more do you expect me to do here?"
"Then she is undoubtedly dead? Dear me, to die of cold and hunger, too."
Raynal beckoned him.
"Boy, I am of the opinion that you should none the less seek high and low," he said.
"But, doctor, after your saying she died of want—"
"Misers have been known to die the same way, lying on their treasures. Hush," he said, laying a finger on his lips and going outdoors.
End of chapter 30. Recording by John Van Stan, Savannah, Georgia.